Coding Made Easy.
So what's up everybody, this is Peter aka CodingMadeEasy coming to you guys with another update. Now this update is going to be really long. It's because I want to talk about numerous things. I'm going to be grouping numerous things, topics into this one video. Instead of splitting it into 5 different topics, I'm going to split it into I'm just going to do it as one long video. So just to give you the topics I'm going to be talking about, so you guys can decide whether you want to listen or not, I'll give them to you now, and you can skip ahead if there's a topic that you're more interested in and whatnot, because I'm pretty sure this video is going to be pretty long. And so yeah. So the first thing is that it's been over 5 years since I started my YouTube channel. And for those of you who have not been subscribed to me for very long, you might not know how my channel began and how it's helped me as a programmer. And although you might not care how it began, you might be interested to hear how it helped me grow as a programmer and how it helped me land the job at Ubisoft. Then be talking about Ubisoft. It's been slightly over a year since I've been working at Ubisoft. And so yeah, it's been a year, and so I wanted to talk about my experience, like my first year at Ubisoft, what it's been like, what my experience has been like, what stuff I learned, and obviously I can't go into very deep details, but I'm going to give you sort of a rough overview and give you some insight on how it's like to work as a developer, like as a software developer, and in the game industry more specifically. The next topic is tutorials. Now I know I have not released a tutorial in such a long time, and I'm going to explain to you what has been going on for the past year, why it's been so inconsistent and whatnot, and I'll explain to you why. And then the next topic after that is the future of Coding Made Easy, so what I plan to do and what what I plan to do in the future and how I'm going to execute it. And last but not least, I'm going to address my website, certain things with that, what my plans are with that, like website, social media, blah blah blah. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. So my channel is beginning. So for those of you who don't know, I started programming 6-7 years now. I don't know, somewhere around that time. And I was in this class, I don't remember what it's called, some electronics something class. And basically for our final project of the class, we had to learn how to, we had to program a wire that would send a signal to a breadboard that would light up some LEDs on that breadboard. And so in order to do that, we need to learn a programming language for the end of our class. So for the last month or two, whatever, we had to learn this language called Turing. And I remember the first time we opened up Turing, he told us to write Hello World. And he was like, that's it, that's your first lesson, that's just that, that's how you write text to the screen. And everybody was like, this is so lame, and this sucks, and blah blah blah. And in my head I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like the fact that I was able to, you know, write some text and let it be displayed, like it's not like anything extraordinary, but like the possibilities could be endless. And so he gave us this link to this website called compsci.ca, compsci.ca. And on that website they have a forum where you can post to get some help, and they also have tutorials for learning Turing. And so I went on there and I studied by myself, and through extensive that, from that moment, from when like I learned Turing, that's when my normal high school life, you know, just died. Like ever since that moment, like my high school life just consisted of just like programming, sports like basketball and baseball, and girls. But like it was mainly programming that took up majority of my time, and I guess you could say sports as well. And yeah, but like that's the moment when like I really, you know, like took programming really seriously. And so I started learning, and started every night I went home, like I would get home maybe at like 4 or something, and like I would program all the way till maybe 2, 3 in the morning. Like I'm a night owl, so I used to just learn and figure things out, and to the point where like I was able to, in the short span, like in a month or two that we learned it or something, I was able to develop like a little Super Mario sort of clone, like one level. He had little powers like the fireball he could shoot, go into pipes, blah blah, jump on the platforms. The code was really terrible, but you know, like it's exciting when you just start and you can do something like that. And it came to the point where I even learned some stuff about Turing that I was even showing other teachers in the school. And I was showing them, I was saying, hey, did you know you could do this and you could do that? And they're like, wow, like we didn't know that. And so I even started teaching them. And so my teacher at the time, I'll never forget him. I won't mention his name because I didn't ask. I didn't ask him. I don't even know if he remembers me still. But he recognized my passion for programming, and so he got a room reserved for me at lunchtime. So at lunch, usually what I used to do is I used to go and get lunch, and then after I used to play basketball in the gym. But what he did is he set up a room for me so that I could program throughout lunch. So I'd either bring a lunch or go get lunch and then go straight to the room and program through lunch. Like that's how passionate I was. That's how much I really wanted to learn, and like he could see my passion, and he was aiding me wherever he could, and blah blah. And the following semester or whatever, I had a computer science class, and in computer science they were teaching Turing, and but they were teaching from the beginning, and so I was already, you know, more advanced and whatnot. And I had a friend in that class, and he said that his brother was studying white hat hacking in university, and how he was telling his brother told him that if you really want to be a good programmer, you need to know C++. Now I know that's a lie. You don't need to know C++ to be a good programmer, but it is a really good language. It's very powerful, very, very powerful language. And so I said, okay, I want to learn it. And so I considered my computer science teacher to be an intelligent guy. And so, and he knew I was more advanced than everybody else in the class so far. So I went home and I searched up some stuff in C++ and realized that it was vastly more advanced than Turing. And so I went to him the next day and I said, hey, if you have some time after school, do you mind helping me maybe for like 10, 20 minutes after school, mentoring me, tutoring me in C++? And he's like, no, like you're not ready and you won't be ready or you never be ready. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? And like I just got upset and I walked out and I just slammed the door, and I just went home and like I said that's not gonna get me down, and I just decided, you know, I'm going to learn C++. Now I learned C++ and I was able to I learned Allegro, and I was able to whip up sort of Mega Man type game. And my teacher, computer science teacher, had one rule. He said you can't play video games in class unless they're your own. And so I remember I brought it to class, and he walked in and he saw everybody surrounded around my desk, and he's like, Peter, what did I say? You're not allowed to play games unless they're your own. And I said, it is mine, and I designed it using C++. And like just the look on his face, like it was priceless. It was the most priceless look ever. And like I'm like, I got him. And so like I started, you know, continuously learning and trying to, you know, continuously learn C++ and other APIs. And then this is when my channel got born, because I was learning a lot with C++, but then I realized there was a lot of gaps in my knowledge. And I realized, like, and I was having some uncertainties, like reading certain things online and whatnot, and and because I was in high school, I didn't have a computer science degree or anything like that. I felt like there were so many things I didn't know, and so I was doubting my abilities, and so I wanted to start from the beginning. So I said to myself, well, if I can teach it, that means I know it well enough, right? Like I've learned from teachers on YouTube, from blog posts online, and different tutorial sites, so they're able to teach it. So if I can teach it as well as they teach it, that means that I know it well. Sorry. So I named my channel Coding Made Easy because I said, okay, you know what? I was able to whip up a little game in C++, but like I'm still, I'd say, beginner slash intermediate. And so I was thinking to myself, I'm teaching not from a professional perspective, but from a beginner's perspective because I myself am a beginner, right? So I thought it was easier for me to reach out to other beginners, right? But my initial purpose was not, to really make this as big as it is now. Like my whole purpose was to, mainly for myself, and if anybody else wanted to view my content or see the way I taught it, then they could go ahead and watch it. So I put the video out there, and even though the quality was terrible, a lot of people liked my content, and so then somebody requested that I do a Lego tutorial series, and I'm like, sure, why not? So I did it, and like that really exploded, and that's really what made my channel sprout up. And then people wanted to learn like XNA and SFML and blah blah. And because I got all those requests, I was essentially forced to learn new technologies, whether I wanted to or whether I didn't want to. And because of you guys, I learned so much because I was I wasn't locked into one framework. Like if it was up to me at that time, I probably would have stuck with C++ because everybody was saying C++ is the greatest and blah 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 blah. But then because of you guys, I ended up learning C Sharp. I ended up learning Java. I had to develop a website, so I had to learn some web development technologies. Right, I learned how to use some content management systems like WordPress, Joomla, stuff like that. So I ended up learning so many different things just from this one YouTube channel. And so I have to thank you guys for not only watching my content and giving me constructive criticism and feedback, but also pushing me to learn something. Like Allegro 5, like that's an example. I did not want to teach Allegro 5 because I knew it was so much vastly different than Allegro 4, and I was like, why? Like, what's the point? And I had this guy that kept bothering me to, just make it. And I was like, fine, screw it, I'll make it. And I learned the Lego 5, and I made a tutorial series on it. Is it my favorite API? Definitely not. Far from my favorite, but I know it enough. I knew it enough to teach it, and I know it enough to, to design something in it. And it's a new technology that I know of. And even if I don't utilize it nowadays, it was still good to learn. I learned new techniques and blah, 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 blah. So you guys really helped me a lot with that. And that's what helped me essentially get my job at Ubisoft. Because as a lot of you guys know, I do not have a college diploma. And here in Canada, colleges give out diplomas, not degrees like in the States. And then but universities give degrees, but I don't have a university degree, I don't have a computer science degree, and I don't have a college diploma. I have nothing. The only thing I have is my high school diploma. And so how I was able to land this Ubisoft job was because of the skills that I acquired from from teaching you guys. For those of you who don't know, I got an internship at Ubisoft last September, and one of the things I believe that helped me get the job was because I had experience in multiple languages and multiple technologies, and I I'm what we call a tools programmer, and tools programmers develop tools in order to help production and blah 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 to do stuff more efficiently. And a lot of you guys don't know this, but I had to develop my own personal tools in order to help the quality of my YouTube channel and to help my website, you know, more efficient. Like for example, a lot of the thumbnails you see on the videos of my older videos, like XNA Made Easy, Allegro Made Easy, and stuff. I didn't want to make all those thumbnails by myself. It was so annoying. So I made a little tool that allowed me to select the background, and what it would do, it would use the YouTube's API, gather all my tutorial names for a specific playlist for my series. It would gather the names and then write the name of the tutorial with the specific font that I set on the image and save the images for me. So it would do that all for me with just one click of a button. And so I developed that tool for myself. I developed the tool on my website before, when I had a previous website, in order to display display the, like, to get the source code. I don't remember from where, but get the source code, get the videos from a certain playlist and blah blah, and display it on my website. Like little tools that helped me here and there, and I was able to describe those things in my interview, and I believe those things helped as well as my knowledge, my diversity in multiple languages and APIs. And so even though I didn't have a degree, I was able to also use like Java with libgdx to develop two apps that I put on the App Store, which I think inevitably helped as well. So, well, my computer just, okay, that was weird. Yeah, so those stuff really helped me land the job at Ubisoft. Now, for what I've really learned from Ubisoft over the past years, it's just been it's been so many different things. Like just for programming in general, you know, just like learning better programming practices, and you know how to write cleaner code, like real clean code. How to work with legacy code, you know, like design patterns, you know, different algorithms, and blah blah blah. The amount of stuff I've learned, but the biggest things I've learned from Ubisoft, surprisingly enough, is not code. Like I've learned a lot from code, and I have a great tech lead. He's really smart. I love when he reviews my code. He gives me lots of insight, and forces me to sort of think outside the box whenever I do certain things. But what I've learned over the past year, as a developer, is really managing your time. Like there's no doubt in my mind that I'm a good programmer. I know I'm a good programmer, but like what I had trouble with and what I'm continuing to grow with now is time management. As a software developer, we often think that it's producing good code. That's not the case. The point of your job is to produce code that works, right? The clients that you're developing stuff for, and in my case, the clients are my team on the project we're working on, the artists, gameplay programmers, end programmers, blah, blah, blah. The clients don't care how the code executes, they just want it to execute. That's it. And so but we don't want you, they don't want you spending a month and a half doing this super elegant solution, blah blah blah, that, you know, like it might look pretty, you know, on for code wise, and it's more maintainable, which is really good. But if you can get the same effect, you know, in a week's time rather than a month's time, they'd prefer you do it in a week, because you got other things that you got to work on, right? And so, as a software developer, you have to learn how to manage your time and learn to evaluate and weigh what's important and what's not important. So, if I have a solution, if they have a problem and they say, hey, Peter, we need you to fix this, and I have a really elegant solution that I feel is more maintainable, but it's going to take me 2 weeks, right? But I have 10 more tasks I gotta finish, and I know within those 2 weeks I might have an added 5 more tasks to do, right? And I think of another solution that's not as maintainable, but it will work for the current time, and it will take me 1 week. I have to weigh, okay, if I do this 1 week solution, by the end of the week I might have had 2 tasks added to my thing, to my list of tasks to do, and it'll be done. But then in the future, am I going to have to, is it going to be hard to modify it? What if I need to do this, that? Is the time that it's going to take me to modify it in the future, is it going to take me more than to implement the 2 week solution, and blah, 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 blah. And there's a lot of things that you got to learn to, weigh and figure out what's the best solution to go, right? The best route to go, or the most effective route to go. And so that's one thing that I had some trouble with at the beginning, because for me, like, I'm a perfectionist, I'd say, when it comes to code. Like, I like my code to look beautiful, I like it to be very maintainable and blah blah. And if I don't like something, I like to redo it and stuff like that. But I've had to learn to, just produce code that works, and that works well, and try to do it to the best of your ability. But if you got other things in the plate, you can't delay every other thing in your plate just to write the best code ever. Like, we strive to produce the best code we can, but with deadlines and blah blah blah, and with the how things are fast paced in the gaming industry, you just gotta get things that work. And then the second thing is source control. Now, source control, simple, managing your source code and managing your data. It's a pretty simple topic, but source control gets so deep, especially with the team I work with. Like, source control is so major, and there's so many different areas of source control, and so many things that are important, that I've just learned so much about source control that I'm baffled at how deep it can really get. And for some roles, like for artists and other types of programmers, they might not realize how deep it can get. But there's a lot of different things with source control that can get really deep and really complex, and I've learned a lot through there. And just for gameplay specific stuff, my team, I work specifically on the automation team, more specifically, and we work on automated tools, to make everybody's lives a lot easier and more efficient. And I've learned a lot with that. Like, you learn, like I've had the pleasure of working with, like, the build pipeline and blah blah blah, like a lot of different things that are very essential to the product of the end product of the game. And it's been pretty cool and very rewarding, and I learned a lot. And sometimes, like, it used to get overwhelming at times, but now, like, I've learned, to handle myself better and blah blah blah. So anyways, off to that topic. So it's at 23 minutes right now, so I hope you guys are still awake. But the next part is my tutorials. So I haven't been. Oh yeah, and lastly, if you have any questions regarding where my channel started, or Ubisoft, or anything I say in this tutorial, put it in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer if I can. So where have I been? Well, there's been a lot going on the past year. I got myself a career. I moved to a brand new city, and since moving to the city, I've had a lot of troubles with roommates. Like, I moved to Montreal, and I was living with this guy. He was really disgusting, and I had to move within a month of living there. Moved to a new place, really clean place, but one of the roommates just acted like he was the boss of everybody, and I just couldn't stand it anymore, and I was ready to fight him. And I was like, you know what, like, Peter, you better leave, or you're gonna knock this guy out. So I just left. I went to another place. I was living there from January till September, and my roommates were they were really cool guys, but, like, it was just, we lived on top above a restaurant, and the restaurant below wasn't very clean, and my roommates weren't the cleanest, and we were having mice problems and blah blah blah. And so now I just moved to a new place and everything seems perfect right now. Really nice area, really nice roommate. Everything is just like working out pretty perfectly so far. But I've been having troubles with that. And the biggest thing is that in the summer, believe it or not, I created so many tutorials. Like, I have maybe 30 to 50 different tutorials to release. The reason why they weren't released is um, I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and most places in Toronto, Canada have central air. And but in Montreal, it's a very old city, and most of the places don't have central air, so you have to have your own air conditioner. And I didn't know that, but until summer came and I was boiling, and my room was really small, and sometimes my room used to get to like 33 degrees Celsius, which if I search this up on Google to see what that is in Fahrenheit, uh, 91 degrees Fahrenheit. So my room was 91 degrees Fahrenheit, like, if I didn't have my air conditioner on. So with the sound of my computer's fan and the air conditioner in my room, the background noise is so loud that I I can't release that to YouTube. And I tried editing it out, but when I try to edit out the background noise, I either sound like I'm an alien or sound like I'm underwater. And I spend so much trying to edit these tutorials that I wonder if it just makes more sense to recreate the tutorials, but I really don't want to recreate them because they were really done well in my opinion. So like, I'm just stuck. I really don't know what to do. I might just release it with the background noise. Try to diminish it as much as I can. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I have so many tutorials to release and I haven't released them. So that's one thing. But lately, like, there's just been a lot that's been going on, like personal life and stuff like that, and like I haven't made any videos in the past, I'd say, 2 months. Mainly because like I haven't really done anything to really like unwind and really soak any. Like, I'm trying to find a good work life balance, because I work for so many hours in a day, and then I come home and like I love to program, so like I code, but like I feel like sometimes I'm coding too much and like I'm making my brain and body exhausted, and I don't think it's really healthy. Sometimes I just need to unwind and and just play some video games sometimes, or just sit down and just aimlessly watch cat videos on YouTube. I don't know, anything. So I'm just trying to find that good balance, and I realize I'm not a very organized guy for the most part, and so I've been like distracted by all these different things, but I'm gonna be working with my girlfriend. Like, she's gonna be visiting me in the next couple weeks, and she's gonna be working with me to help devise me a very flexible schedule, because she helped me devise a schedule before, but the schedule wasn't very flexible. It was like to the point, and the problem with that was that if I stayed an extra hour of work or something, or I was cooking food and I realized I was missing an ingredient, so I had to go and like go to the grocery store to buy it, and then I end up cooking for 20 minutes longer than I expected. Then my whole schedule was like screwed up, and I can't work like that. So I need to really devise a flexible schedule, to help me move forward. Um, so so yeah, she's gonna be helping me doing that, and hopefully with that flexible schedule, I have a good balance of deciding. I'll have a schedule for when like I'm gonna make YouTube videos and when I'll release videos for certain types of tutorials and blah blah blah, and being able to update my website consistently, and whatnot. So I'm gonna try my best to get that in line within the next couple of weeks, so you guys have more tutorials to watch during the winter since you're not outside running around. and the future of coding made easy. So as I said, more organized tutorials. So I really want to um, yeah, I want things to be more structured, and I really want to follow a schedule because I know how frustrating it is to like have some YouTubers that you really like watching, and you never know when they're gonna release a video, and you check back every day just hoping today's the day they'll release something that you want. And so basically, I want to devise a schedule and stick to it, and so hopefully you guys will like that. Now, as for tutorials, a lot of you C++ programmers or other language programmers might not like this, but I think I'm going to be doing, in the past, majority of my tutorials were C++ based, but I think I'm going to switch that over to more C# based. I'm still going to be doing my C++, my Java, my web development, all that stuff, but I think like I'm going to make sort of a paradigm shift and shift towards more C# content and make that my main content, simply because C# is a language I use professionally, and the language I use every single day of my life. And so I consider myself a very good C# programmer, and I've gotten a lot of experience with a lot of C# technologies, and I feel like I'm much more knowledgeable of C# than I am of, say, C++ or Java or something like that. And so I'd rather, dispense that knowledge first and foremost, and focus on the other stuff later, because I haven't really worked like ever since I got the job at Ubisoft. I haven't used C++ extensively. Like I use it every now and then, but I don't use it like super extensively, and so I'm a bit rusty. And there's some new concepts with C++11, C++14. I even saw some things C++17 already, and there's a lot that I have to catch up on, and so I don't want to teach really deprecated or really old things when new things are coming out. So I really have to catch up on my knowledge, and whatnot. So, but I will still try my best to keep up with the C++ and the Java and stuff like that. So I'm also gonna try my best to keep you guys more updated on social media. I have a lot of like over 800 likes on Facebook. I don't know how many Twitter followers I have, but I don't post on Twitter at all. So except for the automatic updates that YouTube does. So I'm gonna try to be more active on social media, and I also want to do more Google Hangouts. Like I've had 4 Google Hangouts, and for the most part, most of them have been really cool. Just hearing from you guys, hearing what you guys are working on personally. Some of you guys are professionals working in the industry that just have a hobby making games and watch my tutorials for that, or you know what, and just being able to talk on a personal level. I made some friends just from Google Hangouts that I talk to outside, like on a regular basis. You know who you are. But yeah, I've met some really cool people through Google Hangouts. So it's really nice, to talk to you guys and to hear what you guys have to say. Um, so what I also want to introduce, I want to address the OpenGL and DirectX, because people keep asking me for this over and over and over, and I keep saying I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it. I really want to make this OpenGL series, but like I just feel like I don't really have much time to learn it in depth, and like I have a pretty general knowledge, like I wouldn't say super advanced, but a pretty general knowledge of OpenGL. Shaders, so-so. And I do plan to learn them extensively, but there's so many things I want to learn right now ahead of OpenGL and DirectX, because firstly, that's not my area of expertise, it's really not. And like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. I mainly focus on tools and blah 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 blah, and focus on advancing my career and focusing, working on personal stuff, which I'll explain a bit later. But those stuff don't really require like OpenGL or shaders that extensively or that low level. Like they only require the current knowledge I have. So like there's like for the meantime, like I'm not as interested as I was before learning OpenGL. So it just feels as though, even though I want to get that content out to you, I don't want to like give you false hope for right now. So right now I'm just gonna say that it's gonna be delayed. Like, I want to do it eventually, but I know I'm not gonna get around to it in the next year. I know that for a fact. So just putting that out there for those of you who really were interested in that. But there are some there is a new technology called Win2D that Microsoft is working on that's open source, and that I'm kind of interested in. So I might teach that. So you'll still get some graphics-based tutorials and monogame. I've really been working with monogame, trying to learn it inside and out and whatnot, and I've learned a lot from it. And so who knows? I might decide to do the monogame RPG series. I haven't decided that yet. But I also, on my website, on my YouTube channel, I want to introduce things that are going to help you guys in your career path. So I want to, even though like I'm not a fan of web, the web is taking over, right? And there's no doubt about it. The web is essentially taking over, and if you know web, you will never go hungry. And so I really want to get into web concepts. Learning the JavaScript is becoming a very like the pinnacle of programming right now. It's a very popular language. I really want to learn some ASP. It's becoming increasingly popular as well, and other different web tools, web services, and stuff like that to help you guys, land that dream job. And I also want to get into some low level concepts, like not like super low level, but like teaching some like concepts that you might find interesting, like for example, like learning about the CLR, or learning about like maybe going like, because I'm really interested. I really like reading language specifications. So like maybe even if I'm reading through like the C# language specification or C++ or something like that, and maybe making a little tutorial series on interesting facts or interesting things based on those languages that you use on a daily basis, I think you guys would really love that. And also I wanted to continue what I was doing earlier with concepts like mathematics for game programming, design patterns, data structures, algorithms, things like that will help you guys out. I really want to continue that, so rest assured I will finish that. And the tutorial series that I've already started, rest assured I will get around to finishing them. I don't like starting something and not finishing, so I will get around to finishing every tutorial series I possibly can. Now, the last point is my website. Now, a lot of you noted that my website is like on sometimes and off. I used WordPress for my website because I seriously didn't have the time, to develop a website from ground up and to do all the scripting stuff, and I just don't have the time. And WordPress is very easy to get stuff up and running, but if you don't update WordPress like every single update, hackers will hack your website like no tomorrow. But I don't check I don't update my website as often as I should, so I'm going to try my best to keep it up to date. But with my ASP tutorials, what I eventually want to do, because I really want to learn ASP.NET like fully, like inside and out. What I was gonna do is I was gonna develop my website and use my website as sort of an example when doing the ASP.NET, or maybe a web page or a specific section of my website showing you how to do it with ASP.NET. So it'd be pretty cool to see how a website is designed from ground up. And lastly, as you can, like I had on my website one blog post how to get into the game industry, and I had other blog posts that I started writing but I didn't finish. So I also want to continue writing these blog posts. It seems that you guys really liked the first post based on the view count and whatnot. So I'm gonna make some other posts that you might find interesting. Other posts like recommended reads that I've read, other stuff like that you guys might find interesting. So when you guys come to Coding Made Easy, it's not just forum. Like there's more content. So anyways, sorry for this really long, like 40-minute long video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it or took something from it. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and bye for now.